Hey everyone, it's Lexi. So in today's video I'll be doing my spoiler-free review of Little Women, which was the Tales and Teacups book club picks for the months of November and December. So this is a book that I was like, I'll preface this with saying I'm not the biggest fan of classics. Like, I hated reading them in school. There was only Les Mis was the only book like classic that I read that I actually really enjoyed, so I tend to not really like this. So this was very much me stepping outside of my comfort zone, and I think like I really wanted to pick this up because I saw the trailer for the movie coming out and it looks like it will be really good. So I was like, you know what, you can do this, Lexi. Try something different and kind of step outside of your comfort zone. So that is how I ended up reading this, and I made it my book club pick because then it means I have to read it. So I'm gonna say I did not enjoy this book as much as I was hoping to. I gave it a 2 out of 5 stars, and although I understand why this book means so much for people and like why people love this book so much, because I do find elements that are in there a lot of people can relate to. However, I just very much struggled with kind of finding the characters likable. The plot, like, I felt like her writing kind of just dragged on in some points, and like I said, it was just very hard to really connect with the story. So starting out, like I said, I really see why people really enjoy this, and I do applaud this book for kind of being ahead of its time and all of that stuff on some of the themes that it talks about. But it just wasn't for me. Part of it too was the writing style. I felt like she very much kind of dragged on in some parts, and I found I was skimming a lot of the stuff because it was just some unnecessary material that didn't really add much to the stories. And I felt like even though this was written in the 1860s, the kind of dialogue between the characters was very kind of unnatural. It felt like it was just a little bit choppy and not very natural or smooth as some of like the other dialogue in other books that I've read. So that part really turned me off. And I think for the characters as well, like Amy is the worst character ever and I really could not stand her, but all the girls are so absorbed with, you know, being poor and, you know, always kind of whining and complaining about that. So it made it very hard for me to kind of very sympathize with the characters. Like, I understand how poverty can affect people's lives and the implications of that, but they just kept going on, and a lot of this was just them complaining about being poor and like just wanting things that they can't afford and complaining about that. So I felt that was very difficult to kind of sympathize with them because they just kept going on and on and on about it, and I was just like, enough already. I get it, you're poor, I get it. And like, I don't know, like some of their, like, they were very like self-absorbed in their own kind of world, and that was just really kind of turned me off from them. I did, however, like Jo's character. I think she was my favorite out of all of them. I love her spunkiness and how she's very passionate about her writing, and I did like that aspect in here, and I felt like that was kind of the saving grace of this, of why I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. And I know like the author based Jo as almost autobiographical in like writing her, so I do really appreciate that, and kind of her struggles of being held back by her time, and like women weren't really expected to be writers, and she was very passionate about that, and I liked that. Laurie was another character again that I just did not like. I think like he also was one that was kind of whiny, so there was that as well. So I did go back after reading this. I watched the movie trailer and I was able to identify some of the scenes, and I think just from having just read the book and then looking at the scenes that are out there now in the trailer, I do kind of find myself more gravitated towards the movie because I feel like they are able to kind of expand upon this book and make it flow a little bit better. So even though I did not really like this book, I still am really excited for the movie because I feel like they can improve upon this in ways and kind of make the story a little bit more relatable and make the characters more relatable as well. So all in all, I was a little disappointed with this book. I did not have high expectations going into it because I was like, you know, 9 times out of 10, I'm not a big fan of classics. So I was like slightly disappointed because I felt like this book is such a classic in terms of like feminist literature, and it was ahead of the time. So I applaud that, and it does have some, like, you know, really good things about it. I did like some storylines here or there, but for the most part I just wasn't the biggest fan of this book. So that's it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and let me know if you've read this during the book club what you thought about it. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.